All right. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? Happy Friday to you. What's up, Southern Sass? What's up, Victoria Page? Nice to see you. Good evening, Jean. What's the hot topic? I think we'll be discussing Blount County some, and there's a couple other things, but definitely be discussing Blount County with all the recent things that have come out of there. Nancy, you just trying to rub it in. Just trying to make us jealous. Let me see what else. There was a couple other things. You know what frustrates me so bad? We'll probably talk about the Blountsville town meeting as well that happened Monday night. It frustrates me so bad. I can start a podcast off by saying something, like being very clear. For instance, today I put out a short podcast on all the allegations that have recently come out against Sheriff Mark Moon there in Blount County. And I started it off and I said, I literally said these words. I want to be very clear and make this very clear. This is not about an affair. If what we were talking about, it has nothing to do with that, honestly. What a grown man and a grown woman do in private is between them, God, and their families. And I said numerous times throughout it, I want to be very clear. That is not what this is about. And then I start looking at the comments later on, and there's people in there making that exact comment. What's it matter? It's none of our business if they're having an affair. I have never. This blows my mind, and if you've been following me, you've heard me gripe about this before. It blows my mind every time. I have never commented on a post if I didn't read the post, if it was a post, or if it was a video that I didn't watch the video. Do y'all do that? Does any of y'all comment on videos and post without reading the post or watching the video? Because that blows my mind. But it's extremely obvious some people don't. And it aggravates me all the time. Actually, let's go ahead and I want to look at some of the comments I'm talking about. And if Carrie, you're on, yes, this show will be about, we will go into that. And I started to do a podcast fully discussing everything that was going on and going on over all the messages and everything. That's going to be literally a couple hour podcast. And so I went ahead and did that today and put that out with the gist of everything. But I do think we'll talk about a lot of it tonight. We'll probably just spread it out amongst a few lives. Here's the thing about Mark Moon. I've always respected him. I don't know him like personally. I've known of him for a long time. I have met him a few times. He probably doesn't even remember meeting me. I was with other people and in passing and shook his hand or something a couple times. But I've always had respect for him because I've always heard good things about him. So I understand it really does suck when someone that you have had respect for, or someone you thought you knew really well, is involved in something pretty bad. You don't want to believe it. I get that. I've had friends involved in certain things before that I just didn't want to believe it. But I have to be real and accept, okay, they did this. Here's the evidence. So you can't just go blind to the facts as they are right in front of you. I was given all of this information on Mark Moon, and there's people that can tell you this. I was given all this information quite a while ago. I've had all of this information for a couple of weeks, at least. And the reason I sat on it so long is because I wanted to make sure 100% that what I was seeing was legit. Because I never want to allege an elected official like a sheriff or anything has done something if they really haven't done something. I don't even want to imply it. So I've been sitting on this for a while, and we've been digging. I've interviewed people. I've interviewed sources that were as close to this as you could get. I've seen a lot of hard evidence. This happened. And I'm not thrilled about it. And it's a very serious thing. It should never happen. And in my opinion, he should not be in office still. I think he has done a lot of good things. In fact, I know he has. I know he has fought against child predators. He has taken down a lot of child predators, or his office has. But none of that makes up for when you do something this bad in that position. Simple as that. There's so many things that concern me about it. Now, for those of you that are listening that have no clue what I'm talking about right now, give a very quick synopsis. Back a few years ago, Sheriff Mark Moon, or well, let me put it like this. A bunch of messages, I think they were Facebook messages, have came to light between Mark Moon and a criminal informant. Now, let me explain that I don't want to get too nerdy with this, but this is like my thing. This is what I teach. I mean, Informant management, CI management is one of the things I teach. I've been teaching it for over 10 years. A CI, as you're going to hear me say most of the time, stands for either cooperating individual or confidential informant, also criminal informant. Let me explain the differences in those just for those of you that, because most of you probably don't know the difference. Unless you're in law enforcement, you probably don't. A confidential informant could be anyone. It could be the business owner down the street that don't like seeing drugs in their city. And so they call the police and say, hey, I've been watching this activity. Or it's a concerned neighbor. Hey, I think my neighbor is selling this stuff. We all come bust them. Whatever. That's a confidential informant. And a confidential informant means their identity will never be revealed. And they're just passing you along information to help law enforcement out of the goodness of their heart. Sometimes they'll get paid for it as well. They can be, they're snitches, but they're good snitches. So that is a confidential informant. A cooperating individual is someone that is also referred to a lot as a cooperating witness, because a cooperating individual does kind of the same thing, except they are willing to go sit in court, testify against the people. Everybody's going to know their name. Everybody's going to know who they were or who they are, all that stuff. A criminal informant, which is almost always also a cooperating individual. But a criminal informant is someone that has been arrested or that is facing criminal charges, and they are only helping law enforcement to try to get their charges either completely dismissed or get a lot lesser charges for what they're, like a lesser sentence or something. So, and when I teach informant management, the very first part of the class every time, and then I also say it the very last part of the class. So it's the first thing they hear and the last thing they hear, because it's a big deal. Under no circumstance can a law enforcement officer have any type of inappropriate relationship, especially a romantic relationship, with a criminal informant. Under no circumstance. I have been screaming for years, and every time I'm in front of a state representative or state senator, and we're on the conversation of anything to do with this, I bring it up. It should be an actual state statute, meaning a law should be passed that if a law enforcement officer has a romantic relationship with a criminal informant, it should be at best custodial grape. And I say grape because I can't say the other word. Somebody made a comment on what is that? Use your head. So in Alabama, as far as Alabama criminal statute, it should be at least considered a grape 2. There's first degree and second degree. This should at least be a second degree, if not a first degree. Because if you're a criminal informant, that officer has full authority over you, over your freedom. There's a big difference in having authority over you and having authority over your freedom. And they have full authority over your freedom, meaning they are the ones, and criminal informants know this. They know the agent, the officer, whatever that's handling their case, their handler, as we call them, holds their fate in their hands, because that agent can either have their case completely dropped, dismissed, or, like I said, talk the district attorney into lessering the sentence, or if it's federal, the AUSA. Therefore, I think it would be impossible for, let's say in this instance, a female that's in that situation and the officer over her is trying to be romantic with her, polite way of putting it. In her head, she's probably always going to think, if I don't do this, he's probably going to send me to prison. You see how that is a very serious thing. Therefore, it should never happen. I don't care how cooperating the informant is acting or how willing they're acting. There's going to be times, and probably a lot of times in that situation, they don't want to be doing it. They're only doing it because they think that is what's standing between them and their freedom. It is literally no different than if a law enforcement officer has that type of relationship with a in custody. What was the word I was going to use? Inmate. Like someone that's sitting in jail and they do that. Now, that is always considered rape too, at least. This is no different. I can't stand this kind of stuff. Never have, never will. And no, trust me, this does not go on everywhere. I worked in narcotics for a long time. Never happened with anyone I worked with, and we had a very large unit. And I traveled around the state and around the country, sometimes working with numerous others, and I never saw this. If I would have, I would have reported it immediately and made sure something was done about it. So all the people saying, "Oh, this happens," no, it doesn't. If you're in law enforcement and you're seeing it happen, fix it right now. And if you have been a criminal informant and have done that with whoever was over you, turn them in, report them. Here's the thing. Almost every narcotics agent at some point gets accused of this. Happens every day. That happens every day. Informants lie a lot. Criminals lie. Who would have thunk it? It's investigated fully if it's at a good agency. And if there's no evidence, then it didn't happen. So just because you're talking to some addict that is saying, "Oh, they did this to me and they did this to me," if they don't have any evidence of that or show you any evidence of that, they're probably lying. Because here's another thing about criminals. Most of them are pretty smart. And so if it did happen, they're going to have evidence. Because then they would have control over the law enforcement officer, which pretty much any criminal informant ever would love that control. And so they're going to want to have that evidence. They're going to keep it. They're going to make sure they have it in case they ever need to use it. But anyway, I hope that didn't get too complicated or confuse people. But I've seen so many comments today stating this is none of our business. It absolutely is our business. 100%. And one day this will be a law. I guarantee you that. They could still be charged with it. I do know some agencies that have charged officers with it before. I can't remember the outcomes of those, but it should be actually written in law, just like teacher-student relationships. Because this is worse than that in a lot of ways. Because again, you're literally holding their freedom in your hands. The teacher-student is a manipulation, and that's a manipulation thing. It's horrible. It's terrible. It should never happen. But this is, okay, do I want to spend the next 5 years in prison, or do I want to sleep with this guy? No one should ever be in that situation. They should never be put in that situation. Now, I've read all the messages that are out there. They're bad. There is no doubt in my mind there was a romantic relationship happening between these two. I've also talked to 2 different witnesses that are very, very almost as close as you could get to this, that have verified things, that have told me other things that only they would know. This happened. Whether you want to believe it or not, or whether you like it or not, Mark Moon had this relationship with this criminal informant at the time. Not only is she a criminal informant, she's a drug trafficker. Her last charge was drug trafficking. Even if she wasn't a criminal informant, if you have a sheriff in a relationship like that with someone, with a drug trafficker, they should be put out of office immediately. Obviously, a lot of conflict of interest there. There's too many witnesses around this that know all of this, that's seen it firsthand. This happened. It's extremely concerning, too, that, what's up, Monica? That not only was this criminal informant getting preferential treatment, but her boyfriend was as well. There's a weird, and that's the part I haven't fully put together yet, but I think I'm going to be able to talk to people that can kind of put this all together to me. But there's a weird thing going on here. So Moon was giving her boyfriend very, very preferential treatment, which also a drug trafficker. So, and that was reported by the DA's office there. That's in court filings. So this is all very concerning. So on top of all of that, you also have in the messages, and you can see this. I'll pull it up in a second. This man knows he is preaching Sunday morning. Literally. And that Saturday night, or a night or two before, he messages her and says, hey, I'm not going to have my phone with me Sunday morning because I'm preaching, so don't be messaging me during that time. That is unacceptable behavior from a preacher, from someone that is supposed to be leading a church. 100%. Just that in itself. And that shows you truly where his morals are. And they're not where most everybody that knows him thinks. And again, you can either refuse to accept this or you can open your eyes and see it for yourself. All this evidence is out there. And you can go to Munchies and Murder, at least Facebook page. She has all the messages on there, every single one of them. I mean, there's like 50 something. There's a lot of them, but she has everything posted on there. You can go read every single one of them for yourself. And then let me pull what up. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Here it is. And all this stuff was put together and posted by Munchies and Murder. So again, if you're not following her pages, you're missing out. Make sure you go follow her pages. But she's the one that's broke all of this and is right on top of all of this. So right here you see the informant's is in the blue, his is in the gray, light gray. She says, "Hey, I've been trying to message you all day. Sorry, I have to block you on Sunday. I'll explain it to you later." Okay, I never sent a message, though. I'm sure I know why you do. Because she knows he's a pastor. He says, "Forgive me." You probably need to be asking God to forgive you. Absolutely. I don't use my phone anymore on Sunday mornings. We have a webcam, and I log into my Facebook on a laptop in the back. By we, he's talking about the church he's preaching at. So, if you want to truly know where his morals are, here you go. Now, we're not the morality police. So if this is all it was, I wouldn't be reporting on it. Unfortunately, this is far from all of it. But this is just, I see tons of people say, "No, I know him. He's a good man. He would never do this." And again, I understand why you think that, but you're going to have to open your eyes and accept the truth here. And if he is a true man, he will come out, admit to this, and fix his life and move on. The longer he denies this, the worse it makes him look. Because you can't deny this anymore, dude. You can't. You need to be a man. Come out. You need to step down from your office. Accept responsibility for this. And get your shit straight. Because you've screwed up bad. We'll go through some more. Here, let me do this. This will be the easiest way. Monica said skip to the good part. Jesus. Whoa, these are going to be really hard to read. Why are they so small like that? Hold on, let me see if I can. There we go. Much better. So she says, I'd really like to talk to you face to face. It'd be easier and not misconstrued, you know. All right, first rule of informant management: you never, ever, ever meet an informant by yourself. Ever. Number one, for safety reasons. Number two, you never, ever meet, if you're a male officer, you never meet a female informant by yourself. That way they can't claim that you've done something that you didn't. Ever. In any good narcotics unit in this country, that's policy, and it's very strict policy. Well, his immediate response is, come to Tuscaloosa, because that happened to be where he was staying in a hotel that night. She says, you sure? It'll be later on if that's okay. Basketball practice. Yeah, that's fine. Probably better if it's later, huh? Or not. I don't know. Where do I come to? He shared his location. He was at the Capstone Hotel, which is a very nice hotel here on the University of Alabama's campus. She says staying in the dorms, which it is on campus, but it's not the dorms. But I'm sure on the location, that's why she said that. She says, okay, I'm for serious. I'm coming. So you sure it's okay? You want to talk to me that bad? Never mind then. If you don't want me to come, why did you say to? No, I do! Exclamation point. Didn't mean for it to sound that way. And he says, hello. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to have to fix this. It's not going to let me. Here we go. Some of these may not be in like the actual correct order, but there's so many, I just haven't gone through them all yet. Now, this is a few days later. He says, what do you do to me? She says, hell no, I don't tell them anything. I don't have you whipped. Good. I will whip you, though. LOL. Promise, he says. I'm not one to kiss and tell, especially anything to do with you. I keep thinking back to that night at the hotel in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Oh, we've already seen that one. Yeah, so the first ones was on January 28th, and that was on. Oh, no, they're not in order because I think that was March. Yeah, we're missing a month there. They'll come up in a minute somewhere. Yeah, that was March. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay, this is before the other ones. What are you wanting to do? What do you mean? What exactly are you wanting to do to gather the info? Because unless you can perform a miracle at this point, I'm doomed now. I'm guessing she's talking about she's going to prison. Keep doing what I am now, socializing, talking, listening, looking. I can make buys. And if y'all sell, I can make sales. I hope to God they don't sell. So that's a whole other issue, but I'm sure they don't. What else is there to do? I can show you anything I know about this lifestyle. Yeah, any addict can. I'd really like to talk to you face to face. It'd be easier. I think that's when it went south. That was the beginning. That was a big mistake on his part, and yeah, these are not in any particular order at the moment. I apologize, but you'll get the gist. She says, I'm for serious. I know you are, but I thought we were going to hang out this week. I thought we were too. You were always gone or some crap. I know. I'm not liking it either. But don't be like that. Come see me when I'm working and be at home so I can come see you. So he's wanting to come see her while he's at work. Big problem for a lot of reasons. Okay, you're right. I know I'm right. Me too. About time you start respecting me. Oh, is it? When do I not always like? I don't know what this means. Must be something you kids say these days. When you don't come see me when you say you're going to, and I sit up waiting, but you never come. Bow to you, yes, sir. When I try to get a hold of you and you don't answer for days. What do? Where are you? Monty something. Logan. Coming you that direction. Where are you? Locust Fork. Safety meeting, yes. Notice anything suspicious? A smaller country car backed up in the driveway. Family, same driveway. Not you placed to the door. You would have seen that. When makes you think it did not go to the door? I don't have a clue what they're talking about here. And there's a couple of a couple of videos. Okay, I think I'm starting to kind of understand what they're talking about. And it's not good or appropriate. Yes, I think we're going to love it. Yep. If you're ever around, I am. I'm working Sunday night. Should I hold my breath? Breath sounds like yes. Hold my breath? Yep. Wow. Okay, then. What did I say that wrong? Usually when someone says they'll hold their breath, it means not going to happen. And I agree with them on this. I think she's definitely wrong. If you say don't hold your breath, then that means it's not going to happen. But she's backwards here. If I tell you I'm going to hold my breath, that means I'm expecting something to happen because I can't hold my breath very long. Because I can't hold my breath a very long time. If I say that I'm not going to hold my breath, I know nothing's going to happen, but actually, maybe she'd be right. Maybe right in this one. I don't know. Okay, how about this one? I'll believe it when I see you. Hey, hey. Is it bad I wake up thinking about you? Now, let me say this. Mark Moon has literally already came out and said some of these messages are him, but not all of them. Uh, so, yeah. He shared his location with her again. He's lucky he's still alive, honestly. You get in this kind of thing with the wrong informant, they're going to set you up and you're going to not be alive anymore. This is so dangerous on top of so wrong. Hey, am I in the clear now? You have to talk to JP about that. JP was apparently the actual deputy or whoever that was like directly over her. Hey, did you tell me you heard Billy David and Satan moving a lot of weight? Yes. Oh, okay. That's funny. Not true at all. Blank is the older, maybe bad Satan was just, I can't read her writing. This gives me a headache. This takes me, I have PTSD from reading text messages like this all fucking day back when I was working. I don't know who is giving you the info, but you can always check with me because if I know, I'll tell you. Okay, I told JP that even if Monday night cleared me, I would still help him if he needed or wanted me to. It keeps me accountable, and accountability is great. Yeah, having a addict making sure they're staying around their other addict friends is definitely a good way to make sure they're staying accountable. It's the last place they need to be if they're trying to be clean. I'm going to glance through these, and if they're nothing really of that sticks out, we're going to zoom back because there's too many. I mean, we'd be here all night reading all these. I mean, there's like 50 something pages of them, literally. I'm going to ask you a question. I expect you to be honest with me as usual. So I've been told you're hanging with some bad folks. Like who? List off some people. Of course, Jason is in jail. Meredith is my cousin. Blah, blah, blah. I hear Billy and say, if you're friends with a guy named Satan, I'd probably change that friend. How was lunch? Couldn't be no better lunch today. So relaxing. Call who dat? Is he this midget ex cop? All right. Family that tried to rob us. The youngest one, yeah. Just left your house, backing up on the rear window. Hey, I'm finally leaving. Just saying, okay, be careful. I will have a good day. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for having me. Delete your messages. Okay. Now, if they weren't having this romantic relationship, him saying delete your messages is not uncommon for you to be telling your informant, because you don't want their friends to be going through their phone and steal their phone and see your messages that you're talking to the police. However, I don't think that's why he wants her to delete hers in this situation. Oh, she's talking about this. Okay, this is her talking about her rental house being broken into a couple times. Did you do a police report? You know this, you dupes that are doing it. This is tough to read. So when I still got horrible. So instead of 2 ounces, I got 1.9, went up to 40. When you surrounded him and Chip the fella, I should have stayed down when they fought the dude. Was my name be in the paperwork? Heck no. I was concerned. Okay, hey. So I'm in the clear now. You have to talk to JP. Okay, we've made a full circle back around to the other ones. Again, these are not in order, so I apologize. He says, I miss you. She says, can't tell. What are you doing at the house? They not talk to him. I haven't heard. What do you know? I don't know. I just checked the website. He's not on there yet. So I'm guessing they busted one of the people she is getting for them. Oh, it won't be up there that quick. It's usually pretty quick on the jail side. But I have a question. What's your question? If she has lived there for a year, can his sister put her out, or can they have to serve her eviction notice? Yes, they have to evict her. No, not in Walker County. So I am glad to know Blount County does this correct, at least. I'm confused. Yes, but not this minute. She went to get tire. Can you call me or meet me? I'm going to Auburn next week for a sheriff's conference. Hey, sorry I was on the other phone. Hey, no worries. Home alone? Yes, for a minute. Okay. Hey, can you check and see if they have him? Apparently they don't. Not sure what this picture is. I don't know if it's like a nude or if it's like picture of just a normal picture of somebody. I don't know. He says, hello, hot stuff. Hello, call me tomorrow. Oh, and I want to let me show you this while we're talking about the Auburn. So this is the Auburn trip referenced in the messages. The Alabama Sheriff's Association held its 2019 Winter Legislative and Technology Conference in Auburn, Alabama from February 24th to February 27th. 2019, the multi-day event focused on training, legislative updates, and agency networking among law enforcement leaders from across the state. So that verifies that because where did it go? Yep. There you go. February the 20th. Call me tomorrow. I will. If you will, I don't know. Kiss, kiss, love you, bye you. Love you. Can't wait to see you again. Me either. Delete. Yes, you too. So they're both telling each other to make sure to delete their messages. Obviously, she didn't. Already have. They didn't find him. Nope, because we have a great deal of incompetence in the sheriff's office. It's nice of him to say about his own office. Well, apparently, he's still at, I'm certain, blah, blah, blah. Don't tell me that. Oh, okay, I take it back. Not. And truly hope you're not using him as a source of any kind. The truth isn't in him. Oh, no, I'm not. Well, you know what he's saying, telling everybody. What's he telling everybody? That he's getting out to help y'all find a body. Him and the love. Oh, yeah, there's a dead body in Walker County that Coleman County is looking for. It's not to help us, though. But somebody is solid. He isn't a liar. He's the main one. Hey, I'm talking to you. You're not responding. I don't know what that means. Shared his location again. Oh, here's the when he's telling her he has to block her on Sundays. Hey, I've been trying to message you all day. Sorry I have to block you on Sunday. I'll explain it to you later. Okay, I never sent a message though. I'm sure I know why you do. Forgive me, absolutely. I don't use my phone anymore on Sunday mornings. That's when he talks about the webcam they have in the church. I'm headed down to Auburn. What's lame? You got to be there. Did you make it? Yes. Shared his location with her. Good deal. I could go to Georgia for getting no. Okay, TikTok has just flagged us for hate speech. So, yeah. Anyway. Calls her dope queen. It's real funny. Haha. Right. Nope. You know you are. I mean, well, no. I need suggestions. Don't say you can't. Don't say I can't. What? Give me suggestions for. Hope you have a great day. I know. I wish you were staying longer. Yeah, me too. So this is when he's in Auburn. So you know I hate distances. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's one of those chain things. Jesus Christ. This is more embarrassing to me than anything for the guy. My God, dude. At the sheriff's ball. A lot of voice messages. She's trying to. So apparently she's asking if she can sell. No, you cannot sell. And where would you get the rope to sell anyway? You do your thing. You're smarter about that than I am. But you're looking to say you're not looking to sell. I'm guessing he meant to say buy. I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Oh yeah, this is a good one. So apparently he was in the military as well. So he was drilling his weekend drills and stuff. So here's your man. Asked me to come. Hell no. I like his daddy. Sure, sure my ass. I'm just messing with you. I miss you though. I'll be down here for a month in April. Where did the drill part go? Oh, it was on the last one, I guess. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Hey, what's up? Not much at drill. What about you? Here's where he's talking about. I'll be down here for a month in April. I miss you like crazy. Thanks for the advance notification. End of April through middle of May. So is it somewhere I can come to? Aniston. I mean, is it okay for me to come or would I have to sneak? I can get a really good room on base for cheap. No sneaking. Ooh, good. But you got to come see me and spend real time with me. I'd love to. That would be really, that would be really be great. Really? Sorry for my errors. I'm driving. I just want you to want to be here, not feel like you're forced to be here. I wonder why you would feel like that, Mr. Moon. I wonder why you would be afraid that she would feel forced to be there. See, this message is very telling. Very, very telling. I have a car and blah, blah, blah. Who's forcing? Don't tempt me with a good time. I'll tempt you all right. Why don't you want to hang with me? I enjoy being around you. You like know me and you get me when most don't. You are awesome and I love being around you. I value your opinion on important things. That's why I tell you things to you. I love being around you. Like about my state probs, brother probs, real probs. For those that are not hip, that means problems. I wish we could be together more. You're awesome. Don't sell yourself short. I know me too. I just really love being with you and I miss you a lot. I love when we do get the chance to be together. Although it's not for long, it's great. So I can only anticipate how real time is going to be. Miss you tons. I miss you so much. Do you tell all of your friends you have me whipped? What do you go What do you go to me? Well, that's we're back around to the one of those first messages that we saw that skipped around a little bit. Keep thinking about that night in Tuscaloosa. Oh, and hold on, let me pull this up too. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So the Tuscaloosa trip, here is it. And the times match up. January 28th, 2019 through February the 1st. New sheriff's training, Alabama Law Institute, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Again, he can't deny this stuff. I'm tired of reading through those messages right now. I'm sorry. I'm getting a headache. I was boreding myself. You can go, like I said, to Munchies and Murders page and read every single one of those. Again, there's a bunch of them. We hit on some, but I think you definitely get the gist. And as I said, he can't deny those. There's way too much there. That's the base he does drill at, and yes, he's still military also. Yeah, I know a couple of the units that drill there in Anniston. There's quite a few. So I don't know exactly what kind of unit he's in, but I'm guessing he's in the National Guard. Maybe Army Reserve, but probably National Guard. But yeah, I mean, all of this has been, like I said, I wouldn't have put this out unless I knew for a fact that this was all true. And unfortunately, it is all true. And it's all been verified. Damn it. I must be pretty hip because I know what that means. Yeah, Fort McClellan. McClellan. There we go. No, he can't, and there are more things coming on. The corruption. I feel bad for his wife and family. Oh, absolutely. No, I do too. No amount of damage control will fix this. But yeah, no, I mean, he needs to do the right thing here. Look, Mark, you screwed up, man, big time. And it's unforgettable. Now is time for you to do the right thing. You need to step down and get your stuff together. Get your stuff straight. But you got to step down. This is a mountain of evidence. And the longer you deny it, the more I'm going to dig, dude. I don't want to have to dig anymore. Just do what's right and step down. Trust me, you don't want me digging anymore because there is more. You're going to have to step down. There's no way around that. Again, the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be on you. This is unfixable as far as your career. I don't know how long you've got in law enforcement, but you're going to have to move on from that. You can still live a happy life. Maybe be a podcaster. I'm just joking. In all seriousness, you're caught, and it's time to move on. I mean, she was a grown woman. I mean, age is not a factor here. That's not an issue. That's not an issue. Yeah, he's got to step down and take accountability. And I will respect that if he does that. Don't pull a Nick Smith and dig in and double down and quadruple down. Don't do that. You just saw what happened to Nick Smith. That's not going to work out well. Don't do that. You can save a little face right now by showing us and proving to us that you can do the right thing. There's no way the citizens in your county are going to have faith in your ability to do your job right. And again, in my opinion, what you've done is criminal. telling you, you don't want me to dig more. I don't think I can be more clear. But y'all make sure to go follow Munchies and Murder if you're not. She's the one who got all of this. She's the one that needs the credit for this coming out and everything. She and I have been talking a lot lately. She's awesome. She doesn't put out just BS. She's doing really good investigative journalist work. So you need to be following her. You're missing out if you're not, but make sure you go follow her. Hey, Vicky, how are you? We're waiting on Moon to deliver flock camera logs. I'm almost 1,000% positive. Now, if you're just talking about I don't know. Most of flock cannot be released to the public. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't see that being released to the public because maybe I'm wrong. If I was in charge of an agency, I wouldn't release any of that to the public. And there's agreements, there's NDAs and stuff that you sign with Flock that all agencies and all businesses and companies that use them, there's certain things they can't release for privacy reasons. I need one of those T-shirts. Within less than a week, they will be on our website. We're going to have the merch store up and running on the website, agentdbaker.com. If you've not checked out the website, go check that out. But the merch will be on there within a week. And Munchies and Murder and I have one thing in common. We've both been blocked by Kimmy Kitten, and neither one of us have a clue why. So we started our own little club of being blocked by Kimmy Kitten for absolutely we have no clue why. So there's that as well. Here, let me pull her. Let me show y'all. Let me pull her page up for those of y'all asking, so you know. Or apparently my Facebook has decided it's not going to work at the moment. What in the world? All right, let's try this. Here we go. So this is her page, her Facebook page. That way you can see how she spells the name and stuff. But yeah, make sure y'all go find her page and follow. She deserves a lot bigger following than she has, because, again, she's doing really good work. I've got a lot of respect for her. But right here, you can see she has all of these, every one of the messages. You can go to her page and pull up. But there you go. The audit logs, they have been released in hundreds of cities. It's a permanent record of the search. Yeah, I know what they are. If they've been searching your vehicle without a warrant, they don't have to have a warrant. Yeah, now, officers using them to track down ex-girlfriends and things like that, absolutely, that's a huge, that can't happen. That it does happen, unfortunately, and that needs to be fixed. There are certain things that need to be put in place. I completely agree with you on that. But you don't have to have a warrant to search. Your license plate is public knowledge. It's completely public. There's nothing private about it whatsoever. So if I'm in law enforcement and my agency has access to Flock, I can go in there and search any tag I want to. Now, again, where the problem comes in is if they look at my logs and go, isn't this your ex-girlfriend? Why have you been searching her tags so much and her locations? Now, that's a big problem. That should be a very serious offense. They should be fired for that immediately. And that's one of the ways to fix that. The agencies that have Flock need to have in their policies, if you misuse that, it's a fireable offense, because it should be. You know, if again, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, whatever, ex-wife's new boyfriend, no, we can't be having that. So that needs to be monitored closer than it is. I agree with you on there. But as far as they can search your vehicle, and that's fully legal. That's just like if I'm in law enforcement, I can go sit on the interstate and I can run every single tag that comes down the interstate and see who's driving every single car. I don't have to have a reason. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled on that multiple times. So, and this falls into the exact same thing. So you don't have to have a reason for running a tag in law enforcement. Now, again, there are instances where you shouldn't, and if you do, and if you're running a tag like in Alabama it's Alicop, but it's through NCIC. Now, if you misuse NCIC, that's an absolute fireable offense, because if you misuse NCIC, you lose access to it, and if you don't have access to NCIC as a law enforcement officer, you're worthless. I mean, you can't do your job anymore. And, there's been tons of officers fired for that, and they do treat that very serious. So, and just like Flock, every single tag you've ever ran can be pulled up forever. There's a permanent log of that. And is this AI? I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I don't think I'm AI. I think I'm real. But I'm trying to think how to take that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. If you've ran your ex-wife's new boyfriend's tag in through NCIC, that's a fireable offense, and that person can sue you. That may be what your Blunt Tribune. That's probably what you're getting to. So if if that's if that's the kind of stuff you're talking about as far as without a warrant, yeah, you're correct. But it would have to be those specific kind of circumstances. So you can be personally sued if you misuse NCIC, and I would think you could be personally sued and that's again been handed down by the Supreme Court, and so I would think the same would apply to misuse of flock. But anybody that's NCIC certified that has access to NCIC, the class you have to go through to get that certification, and they are very serious about it. And again, if you misuse it, it's a big mistake. So, yeah, if you're running tags through flock that you have no business running through, like I said, there's a personal reason that you shouldn't be, and they find that, then absolutely, that's a big problem. And so I'm guessing that's what you're talking about, Blunt Tribune. But as far as just running anybody's tag, there's nothing wrong with that or illegal. Again, I can drive through, if I'm in law enforcement, I can drive through the Walmart parking lot and run every single tag through NCIC. And again, that's been ruled by the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, to be fully legal, because your tag and the information that comes on your tag is not private at all for law enforcement. It's so absolutely nothing wrong with that. So somebody just sent me a message. They put flock camera machines on the interstate. Now in Alabama, they're not allowed to be on the interstate. So you're not going to find a flock camera on an interstate or certain state highways unless that's changed in the last year or two. And that was because of Alabama law. So there's certain state highways that flock cameras are not allowed to be on. And in Alabama, there are no flock cameras on the interstate. I'm almost positive any state roads, actually. So the only places you're going to find actual flock cameras is either on private property, because private businesses can get them. Like Walmart has them. Pretty much every Walmart has them. Home Depots, Lowe's. So if you go to any of these businesses, picture of your tags being taken every single time you go to those businesses. So private businesses can put them anywhere they want, but on state highways and the interstate, there's no flock. There's license plate readers, but that's completely different. License plate readers are only for NCIC users. So like when I worked interdiction on the interstate, I had a license plate reader on my patrol car. So it automatically ran every tag I saw. I didn't have to run it. It automatically does it. It's the same thing, and it's like a traffic camera, and it's the same thing with all other license plate readers. And then that's all I'm going to get into about that. I don't want to tell too many details there, but yeah, a lot of agencies have the LPRs in their vehicles. I was on interdiction in 2011 and 12, and I had one back then. Now, back then, just our interdiction units had them, but I think a lot more have them now. I think they've gotten cheaper. But here's the thing, and what years did I work interdiction? 11 and 12. It was a year and a half. It was most of 2011 and a little bit of 2012, and then I moved on straight into narcotics. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Flock. It's FLOCK. Flock was never supposed to be a public thing. Back when I was let me break this down to y'all. A lot of people are acting like Flock just came along. Flock's been around for years. But for years, law enforcement did a really good job of keeping it a secret, like we were supposed to. You were not supposed to know there were flock cameras for obvious reasons. If you didn't know how to not go by them. As far as if you're committing a crime, flock cameras have solved more crimes than any other tool in law enforcement of all time put together. You will never hear me be against flock cameras. Let me say that again. Flock cameras have solved more crimes, serious crimes too, than all other law enforcement tools put together in the history of law enforcement. And flock's only been around for about 15 years, 10 or 15 years. They are the best tool for law enforcement now. Now, again, like we were saying, they can absolutely be misused, and that's got to be fixed, and that should be a very serious thing. But they are, for investigations, when we first got Flock, we were in heaven. I mean, I could solve a crime. I remember solving a robbery within 3 minutes. I got the report, and I went to Flock, and within 3 minutes, I solved a robbery. And it was a robbery I would have never solved without Flock. But with Flock, I solved it in 3 minutes. I mean, I'm telling you, it's an amazing tool. But back then, nobody knew about them except for law enforcement. And actually, a lot of patrol didn't even know about them, only investigators. We were supposed to keep them quiet, secret, and we did for a long time. I don't know how it eventually came out. Some idiot police officers finally started talking about them like they weren't supposed to. So, but they have been around for a long time. And they have solved more crimes than you could ever imagine. Missing persons cases, kidnappings, Amber Alerts. I mean, all the above. They're amazing. Now, flock cameras are not traffic cameras. They don't determine speed. You don't get a ticket for them. So that's those are completely different systems. So flock, let me tell you what, I don't care. Let me say this. I do not care what anybody else tells you. I used Flock for a very long time. I know the ins and outs of it. The only thing that the Flock cameras that law enforcement use can do, let me say that again. The only thing they can do is take a picture of your vehicle and your tag number. There's no facial recognition. You can't tell who's driving a vehicle. Once in a blue moon, it takes the picture to where you can see who's driving the vehicle. That's very, very rare because of the way it takes the picture. It does not have facial recognition. It simply takes a picture of the tag. And while it's taking that picture of your tag, of your license plate, it gets a picture, obviously, of most of your car. That's it. That's all they do. That is all they do. I continuously see on the internet people acting like these things do all kinds of stuff just because they go to the Flock website and because the company that owns Flock has tons of other technologies that they sell. They take it like the Flock cameras that law enforcement use do all of that, and they don't. They don't do any of that. The reason Flock got attention is because it was put into reports and used to develop RS, and that's bad investigation. Again, I used them for years and never had to call attention to them. I never had to put them in a report. I would just use them to show me what I needed to do and look at, and then put the evidence together without having to use Flock as a probable cause or reasonable suspicion or anything. Now, if that's the only way you could solve a homicide, okay, I'll give you that. And I could see that happening every once in a while. But if you're talking about any other kind of crime other than something serious like that, that was, again, I'm still frustrated that they got out. But anyway, they're out. So here we are. This is the reason why we didn't want them out. This is one of the reasons why we didn't want them out. It's because all the misinformation now. People act like these things do all kinds of stuff. I will bet everything I've ever owned. If Flock cameras that law enforcement use do anything other than take a picture and log your license plate, It logs the time, place, and date and license plate. That's it. There's no facial recognition. There's nothing else. They're no different, like I said, than the license plate readers that are on a lot of police officers' vehicles now. Which meaning if you go past that law enforcement vehicle, it does the same thing. It takes down the exact same information from your tag, every single car that passes by, and it immediately runs every tag. That way, if the person is wanted, it'll flash up on your screen. Hey, this is a wanted individual that owns this car, or this is a suspect in something. Flock shoes the same way. You can go in. If I'm working an investigation, I can flag things. Like if you're the suspect of one of my investigations, I can go in and flag you in Flock. And from then on, every time a Flock camera picks your vehicle up, it notifies me immediately of where you are and all that stuff. It's an amazing tool, but that's literally all they do. Interdiction guys was using. Why the hell would interdiction guys need to use Flock for? That's ridiculous. I mean, I've used license plate readers like border crossings and things like that in interdiction, but not a Flock. Like, I don't even understand that. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. It doesn't surprise me, though. The devices are accessible by pressing a button on the back, but I'm not sure what you're talking about, Blunt, Tribune. DM me. 'Cause I'm curious as to what you're talking about. Trip history to develop. Yeah, and again, why not just use the license plate readers? There's enough of them, especially if it's a border crossing or something. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely lazy. I mean, it still doesn't make sense to me, actually. Interdiction. A car goes by and you see some indicators on it. You find a lawful reason to conduct a traffic stop on that vehicle. You go up and you interview. And if you know what you're doing, if you know how to interview, if you know how to talk to people, if you know how to detect deception, you're going to be good at it. If you don't, you're not. And you get either probable cause to search, or 99% of the time you get their permission to search, and you search and you find it, and case solved there. They can read bumper stickers as well. I mean, unless that's something that yes, they could read bumper stickers from the like if you could read the bumper sticker from the picture of the plate, but as a search, like as a search filter, it's definitely possible they've added that in the last 2 years. I haven't. I'll find out. I will find out because I'm curious now. I know 2 years ago that wasn't a search filter, but it definitely could be now. But I'm curious about that for sure, so I'll check on that and see. Yeah, that's a good point. That is possible. That's a new AI feature. So yeah, that is possible. Like I said, it takes a picture of your license plate and your car. So any identifiers on your car that can stand out, but there's no facial recognition. Yeah, because I try to keep up with everything like that, so I still know what I'm talking about. Because obviously, yeah, technology changes every day, and investigative techniques change every day and stuff. But I try to stay on top of all that stuff. Yes, you are correct. Flock cameras were used in the Anil Blanchard trial. I was there. You are correct. They did talk about flock there. Well, it's on the TV shows and movies. That's not as bad as it's on the internet, so it must be true. I haven't got on my soapbox about one of my new pet peeves lately, but one of my new pet peeves is going to ChatGPT and typing a question in and then screenshotting that and posting that answer to social media or the internet as if that's, here you go, this is the fact. No, it's not. ChatGPT is wrong every single day. That's literally no different than Googling something and then saying, well, it's on the internet, so it must be true. Well, ChatGPT says it, so it's got to be true. No, it's not. There's a new PhD diploma now. It's TikTok PhD. Yeah, no, there's a lot of TikTok lawyers, uh, which is very, very concerning because people listen to those idiots and think they know what they're talking about, and they don't. They're going to get people in trouble, hurt, even worse. As I said, check people's credentials before you listen to them, whether that's on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X, whatever. If somebody's acting as an expert in something and talking about something, check their credentials. Let me tell you a secret. If they don't have their credentials listed, then they're probably not an expert in what the hell they're talking about, or they would have those listed. So if you can't find their credentials, meaning their experience, their education, whatever they're talking about, if you go to their page and under their bio, it doesn't say anything about any of that, don't listen to a word they're saying because they probably don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, I've seen this a lot, especially with these TikTok lawyers. They put on a suit, literally, and they've got some kind of great AI background, which, by the way, this is not AI background. This is real. Everybody on my team pretty much has been in my studio, so they can attest that. But anyway, so it looks very professional, and they're talking, and I hear them talk. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then I go look at their bio, doesn't say anything. They're not a lawyer. First off, don't get legal information. Don't take legal advice from social media ever. Not from me, not from anybody, because I'm not a lawyer. I pretend I know things a lawyer does at times, but I'm only pretending. No, I'm being serious though. Don't take legal advice from me. Talk to your lawyer or lawyer you know to get legal advice. Nobody else. Because it's very serious. So, but anyway, back to my pet peeve. Stop believing everything ChatGPT says. You're making yourself look ignorant. The crime solving pages. Are you talking about mine? I think mine's pretty legit. Although, brace yourself, I can be wrong. I know that's shocking to some of you. But trust me, I can be wrong at times. Hey, thank you, Travis. I really appreciate that. No, the AI stuff is getting really scary. I agree with you. They said it's scary when you can't distinguish between what's real and AI. That's getting very scary. It is. It's getting very scary. I was just messing with you, Bridges. What's your question? I must have missed it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Oh, and Bridges, to answer your, am I still in law enforcement? No, I retired 2 years ago. Close to 3 now. You said he admitted to some of the messages, but not others. When and to who? Hold on, let me find it. Well, let me make sure I'm correct on that, but I'm almost positive I am. But I definitely will correct myself if I'm not. Is anyone on that's been working with me on these cases? Do y'all know where I saw that? I take so many screenshots, and half of them are with my phone and half with my PC, so it gets confusing sometimes. But I know I screenshotted it. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Okay, this is completely off subject for a second, but I was going through my screenshots on my phone. This blew my mind the other night, Wednesday night. This popped up on my For You page on TikTok. And this, I don't know if y'all can see this girl, but her name on TikTok is, well, Megan something. I wasted like 2 hours of my life watching her the other night. It was blowing my mind. She was making, I know this is, you're going to think I'm crazy and gullible. That's fine. She was making things move like with her mind. And she was showing the background. Like, I'm telling you, I tried to figure it out for like 2 hours. Anyway, I came across that picture. My ADD kicked in there. Hey, Mrs. Hanson, how are you? So Mrs. Hanson said she saw it somewhere too. He addressed it over the weekend. I know I saw it somewhere. If I can't find it in just a minute or so, I will provide, I'll post it on my page tomorrow for sure. I know I saw it. I just can't remember what, and I know me saying I saw it doesn't mean anything, and nor should it. So, but I will find that. Whoever asked for that, I think it was Rose. I will find that, and I'll post it to my page tomorrow. But again, I'm telling y'all, I had a lot of respect for him. He's done a lot of good things. I did not want to believe it. That's what, again, all this information was sent to me a couple weeks ago. And I sat on it because we put a lot of research into this. And like I've interviewed people that are as close to this situation as can be. I wanted to make sure this was true and right before I put it out, because I don't want to ruin anyone's reputation or contribute to ruining someone's reputation or anything like that if it's not true. And as bad as I hated it, it's true, and he did it. Now, I'm not saying he's an evil man and worthless or nothing like that, but he did something that you cannot do in law enforcement, especially as a sheriff, and he has to step down. He opened himself up to blackmail horribly, and that's scary in itself. He put a lot of people in danger by doing what he was doing. And in my opinion, no matter what, she probably felt like she had to sleep with him and hook up with him because he literally controlled her freedom. So he can change. Maybe he already has. But he can't be in law enforcement anymore. That's a line you can't cross. And if you do, you gotta find a new career. And this is exactly why, like I said, I've been teaching a lot of different narcotics classes, but specifically informant management for a long time to narcs all over the country. And that's the very first thing we talk about and the very last thing we talk about, because it's the most important to me, that they understand you cannot do this under no circumstance with a criminal informant. You don't need to do it with any type of informant, but there are situations to where it's completely okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a criminal informant, no. And on top of that, anyone that's been arrested for drug trafficking, no law enforcement officer should be in a relationship with them, much less the sheriff. So, I mean, just that in itself is a big problem for obvious reasons. And like the agency I spent most of my career at, that was policy. If that was in the policy, if you were hanging out, you're not even allowed to be like personal friends with someone that's a known drug user or dealer. And if you were, it was a fireable offense, as it should be. I agree with that. Much less a romantic relationship with them. And I've saw quite a few deputies' careers ruined by messing up and doing that. And that wasn't informants. That was just them getting in a romantic relationship with a known user or dealer. You can't do that. And so we all make mistakes. Sometimes we make big ones, and sometimes we make some that cost us our careers at that time. Doesn't mean your life's over by any means, but there's munchies in murder. We've been talking a lot about you. But again, this happened, and it's unacceptable. He's got to go. And the longer, again, I hope, and I truly hope he does not dig his feet in like Nick Smith and just try not to take any accountability for this and accept any responsibility. And that's not going to work out well for him. And I truly hope he's a better man than that. Because again, if he will do what's right now, I'll have all the respect in the world for him. Again, he can't be in law enforcement anymore, but I'll have all the respect in the world for him as well. I know a lot of other people will. But he's got to do the right thing now. Long Tall Sally. I personally know Mark. I know his dad. I'm absolutely stunned. I mean, I was too. And now I don't know him personally, but I've always heard a lot of good things about him. I've spoken about him quite often, and because I have good friends that know him very well, and I've never heard anything bad about him till now. And again, that's why I was so hesitant with this information when I first got it, and I wanted to make sure. I made sure, and it's true. And so it's got to be fixed. But again, Munchies and Murder, who's on here now, she's the one that needs to get credit for all of this coming out. So, again, if you're not following her, make sure you go over to her page and follow her, because if you're not following her, you're missing out. She's been putting out some really good information, and she's doing really good investigative journalism right now. But I know a lot of people are stunned. A lot. And again, I know he has done a lot of good things, but that doesn't make up for this. What are my thoughts on the CI being exposed? I mean, I'm never for a CI getting exposed, but I don't know how. Like, obviously, the CI got gave these messages to somebody, because they're her messages. So, and I don't know how that worked. I'm not saying that she's the one that put them out, because she's probably not. But somewhere along the line, she kept them, which, like I said, criminals are not stupid. And why do you think she kept them? To hold that over him. That's very bad. Again, that goes back to the blackmail. I'm not saying she ever blackmailed him, but I'm saying that's the only reason she would keep them. Because you see numerous times in there him specifically tell her, delete your messages. And she says, okay, I did. Well, she didn't. She may have deleted some, but definitely not most, or not all of them. Now, again, a law enforcement telling their informant to delete messages, that's not uncommon. I was constantly telling my CIs to delete messages. That's because you don't want their friends or their boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, whatever, seeing those messages, because you don't want anyone knowing they're working for the police, because it's very dangerous for them. It puts them in a very dangerous situation. So that's not uncommon. But we saw that's not the reason he was telling her to do that. He was telling her to delete them because of what they were doing. Does it put the CI in danger? Absolutely. That's why you'll never hear me name the CI. I've never named the CI. I'm not going to. Now I'm almost positive her name is out there, but I'm not going to name her. But it absolutely puts her in danger. However, this is something I've struggled with before. When I've sat across from the table from a lot of informants, and for a long time, they would be like, I don't know, I don't want to get hurt. And I'm like, nobody's going to hurt you. That's just on TV. Like, just don't tell anybody, but I mean, they're not going to come take you out. Like, you're watching too much TV. Until it happened. And the two that it happened to, I remember having those specific conversations with them. And I still lose sleep over it sometimes, thinking about it. After the first time it happened, I never told that to another informant. Because it can happen, and it does happen. And trust me, you feel responsible in a way. Now, when I was really, the first time it happened and I was really struggling with it, it was explained to me and did make me understand it's not my fault. Because here's the thing. When you make the decision to go out and buy drugs or definitely sell them, that you've immediately put your life in danger. You did that, nobody else. Doing buys with law enforcement are the safest buys and deals you'll ever do, because you've got an entire team hiding somewhere that if something starts going wrong, they're going to jump out of the bushes and save you. So it's way safer than when you're out on your own doing it. But you can't tell them that it's never going to happen, because it does. And again, I've lost 2 that way, and it'll stay with you. But it's part of that job, unfortunately. And again, it's not like you put them in that world; they put themselves in that world. They made those decisions. They were grown adults. They signed the paperwork. They signed the release forms. They agreed to do all of it. It doesn't make it much easier to deal with. But again, yeah, I mean, it absolutely puts her in danger. And as a sheriff, your life's in danger and your family's life's in danger, just as a sheriff. I mean, that's part of it, unfortunately. And I mean, I'd lived with that my entire career, and now I'm an idiot and decided to start a new career that makes my life probably puts my family's life and my life in a little even more danger than it was. But somebody's got to do it. All I can do is stay vigilant, 100% of the time. Stay trained to where I know I can protect myself and my family at all times. Hey, Angel, I hope you're having a good start to your weekend as well. Okay, Bethany, thank you. Name is out there and going around now because of this, and I pray no retaliation comes of this. Yeah, I mean, I do too. But again, this person has been arrested for drug trafficking. I verified that today, pretty recently. So they're putting their lives in danger constantly. So whoever did put this out would not be responsible for that. That's the point I'm trying to make. And again, I don't have a clue who actually put this out. Just like I don't have a clue who put the stuff out about the Bluntsville Reagan. I'm feeding it. The video is through a what's a mirrorless camera through a Panasonic Luminux. Did that answer your question? No update on Reagan, but the here, I do want to pull this story up on that note.
So I didn't really see her much besides that Wednesday.
By the way, I don't know. I don't remember if we've talked about this. Is it still glitching? I wonder why. That's usually not an issue. It may be the weather. We've had some decent. I mean, we've had a ton of like rain and some thunderstorms. Like not right now, but we have today. So I don't know. But anyway, I promise we're going to get back to the original thought. If y'all have not seen Maternal Instinct on, is it Netflix? Wow. That's one of the craziest documentaries I've ever seen. And I'm not going to give it away for the people that haven't seen it, but go see it because next week we're going to talk about it. So if you haven't seen it by then, I'm going to give it away. But it's crazy, and it shows you how crazy some people are and can be. Like it's wow, it blew me away. And I'm not going to name a name, but a lot of you know who I'm talking about and referring to. It reminds me of a person, of a content creator that we've discussed in the past. Very, very similar. And that's the kind of stuff that always, that's why I took her mental problems so serious and tried to warn everybody, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of similarities there. A lot. She deserves the worst of the worst. The woman on Maternal Instinct. That's good God, I couldn't believe that. It wasn't long ago that Moon had to fire one of his officers for sending nudes through Snapchat and planning to go meet an underage child. I don't know that I was aware of that or not, but I mean, that's what I was saying earlier about Moon. He has done a lot of good work, and that's one of the. I mean, he has fought against child predators. He's worked to put a lot of child predators behind bars, and I appreciate that work he's done and respect that work more than anything. But again, that doesn't take away what he's done here. Okay, let me get back to. this is it. So Blantsville City, which is when we called out Reagan, the police chief, for being a child predator, that forced them into making him resign, which they should have fired him. And they screwed up by not firing him. They should have fired him. He shouldn't have been given an option. But anyway, so they had a town council meeting Monday night, and I'll just read you what this comes from. Alabama Justice Watchdog reported this. The Blunsville Town Council meeting lasted exactly 3 minutes Monday evening. By 6:04 p.m., the meeting was adjourned so officials could make a coordinated exit out of the rear doors, avoiding waiting citizens and questions regarding the recent termination of the former police chief. So, yeah, some reporters literally tried chasing them out the back door. They literally went out the back door. And you put yourself in that elected position. You volunteered to be in an elected position. Don't cower away and run from reporters. That is part of your job, speaking to the press and answering questions from your citizens. This kind of stuff pisses me off so bad. If you don't want to face this stuff, don't run for office. You are required to answer questions from your citizens as an elected official. You don't get to run away from it. I suggest y'all have a council meeting ASAP and take questions from your citizens, because this is ridiculous. It's immature. It's unacceptable. And it's unethical. And they've put out a statement. Okay, I'm just seeing this statement. I haven't even seen this statement yet. Hold on. Let's pull this up. I'm about to get more pissed, I'm afraid. Let me back this up. Okay, this is where it talks about their 3-minute session. I clicked on there we go. Like, that's the reporters literally they're chasing them out the back door. Can't catch them. Like, why are you afraid to answer questions from your citizens? That's not a good look. You're the ones that hired him. You all knew what happened. You're going to have to answer these questions. Okay, let me see what this says. Statement from the town of Blunsville. The town of Blunsville announces that Police Chief Joseph Reagan is no longer. Oh, this is the initial one. Okay. The town takes all matters involving municipal operations, public trust, and accountability with the utmost seriousness. No, you don't. While personnel matters are confidential, and the town will not provide additional details regarding this matter. This action was taken following careful consideration and in accordance with applicable laws, policies, and procedures. The mayor and town council recognize the importance of transparency and understand that members of our community may have questions regarding this decision. We appreciate the patience and understanding demonstrated by the citizens of Blunsville as the town diligently navigated the legal and administrative processes necessary to address this matter appropriately and responsibly. They respect you so much, they let ChatGPT write this out. I guarantee you this is ChatGPT mess. Just because you say you recognize the importance of transparency doesn't mean you actually do, because you're proving you don't, because you're not being transparent at all. Quite the opposite. Again, y'all ran for the offices, and this is part of the job. So this is someone filed a FOIA request. I'm not sure who yet. Maybe it says at the bottom. Oh, okay. So this Alabama Justice Watchdog is who filed the request. Pursuant to the Alabama Open Records Act, I hereby request access to and copies of public records maintained by the town of Blunsville. Specifically, I am requesting all public records, correspondence, files, emails, memos, text messages, and letters regarding the departure, resignation, termination, or separation of former Police Chief Joseph Reagan from the Blunsville Police Department. This request includes, but is not limited to, written or electronic communications between town officials, council members, and legal counsel regarding his departure. I don't think you can have. I mean, the only thing that I don't think that they're not going to release, and I don't think they can, is any correspondence with legal counsel. That's privileged information. Official resignation letters, termination notices or separation agreements, personnel action forms, or minutes from meetings discussing his employment status. Now that is an absolute must, and they need to disclose those. If there are any fees searching, blah, blah, blah. So they filed that request. Hopefully they abide by the request and give them the information they're supposed to. So they requested to speak at the council meeting. My address will focus strictly on the pending Open Records Act request submitted to the town clerk regarding the June 26th departure of Joseph Reagan. Speaker Zachary Jones. But I'm tired of these small towns thinking they can do whatever the hell they want to. You can't. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. Because I don't doubt some of you don't understand the law at all. We don't care. This is your job. Not to run out of your back door. You will never, ever catch me running out of a back door to avoid answering questions. Now, I may straight up tell you, I'm not going to answer your questions. But I'm not going to run from you. At least have the balls to do that. Excuse my language. At least have the nerve to do that. When you can't even do that, that says a lot about who you are and your character. It's not a good look. God, TikTok's restricted us 70 times during this live. I don't know what I've done. Is it from people reporting your love? Yes. No, I have a lot of haters out there. Brittany Stapleton and her minions have been reporting us for months, almost every live, and they've been successful in some. A bunch of them, literally one night, a bunch of them reported that there was nudity on the live, and they shut me down for 48 hours because of it. I appealed it because obviously that there was no nudity, and it didn't pass the appeal. TikTok, you got to do better. You've got to do better. All those people that was complaining when China owned it, it was 10 times better. Trust me. They may have been spying on us. I don't care. They didn't spy on me. But it was way better. Since whatever American company or whatever bought it, it's gone downhill. It's horrible. TikTok, you're freaking horrible right now. Get your act together. Does anyone know about a motion filed by Brett King, Jimmy Carter King in Blount County? Look it up. I'm not familiar with that, but we'll check it out. Tell me your thoughts about Blount County Sheriff Markman. You'll have to go to my YouTube page, Agent D Baker, and watch the replay because I'm not trying to be rude. We've been talking about that all night though, so I don't want to. I can't go back through all of it. But all of my lives are saved on YouTube and Facebook. But you can go. You need to go subscribe to my. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go do that. Because one, that's one of the places where you can find my full podcast, because I do a full podcast. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast, but you can watch it on YouTube. And then all of my lives, the replays are automatically on YouTube. So go over there and check that out. And also, my lives are every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. Monday and Wednesday are at 8 p.m. Central. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central. But the Wednesdays are exclusively on YouTube. So you need to go subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you don't miss the Wednesday night lives. Have more young ladies came forward about Reagan? Not to me. I haven't gotten any more, but I don't know as far as like openly public. There may have been more that's spoken out that I'm not familiar with yet. But as far as I know, no. But it wouldn't surprise me if they have. Two commented, but I was wondering if there had been more. Oh, no, I got tons. Did I mention that? I can't remember if I said that on a podcast or on the live, but no, I talked about the other day. The first 24 hours, once his resignation was announced, the immediate 24 hours after that, I was bombarded with messages from younger females telling me a story about him. Over 20. And now, let me be clear. I'm not saying all 20 said that he did something that like he did anything criminal to them as far as like touched them or anything like that. But all of them, now about 5 of them made allegations of some similar things to the incident that we called him out on. But the rest of them just had stories of how he was somewhat inappropriate with them at times, just things he would say, or how he would just make them feel extremely uncomfortable. For instance, they would be somewhere, he would walk up to them, say something that wasn't necessarily like that wasn't foul, but made them extremely uncomfortable to where they wanted to get away from him and not ever see him again. He put a lot of younger girls, and I think the 2 that posted said this as well, that he was constantly asking different girls, hey, when are you going to turn 18? When do you turn 18? And I got a lot of those messages from girls that said he would Snapchat them or message them on social media and say, how old are you? And be like, I'm 17. Okay, make sure you message me as soon as you turn 18, which doesn't make any sense because the age of consent is 16 in Alabama, unless you're a school employee and they're a student there, which is what happened. So, but no, there was a lot. And what upset me so much about that is once it clicked to me, hold on, I didn't get any of these messages, because I'd been talking about him and calling him out for 4 or 5 days at that point, and not one of those girls messaged me. Why did they wait to message me when they saw that he had resigned? When that clicked to me, it really bothered me. Why? Because that shows they were still scared, because he was still in authority. He's a police chief of a city, and they were still scared. And when that clicked to me, and I got all these messages, like I said, in one day, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And it was like a couple hours later, I was like mowing my grass or something, and it clicked to me why that was, and that really upset me. And you still have people taking up for that evil piece of shit. And that's all the ones that messaged me. There's no way that's all of them. So there's no telling how many young girls he has made very uncomfortable throughout his time, especially when he was a school resource officer around them all the time. And then what do we do instead? Okay, you did this horrible criminal thing as a school resource officer. Let's make you the police chief. Let's give you more authority. And again, that council and that mayor is going to have to answer to this. They're not getting out of this. This is not going to go away until they answer some questions. And some of them need to resign. The ones that was on the council when he was hired, all need to resign. Because they all knew about the incident. They all knew all the details. In fact, let me see. Now, let me just pull it up again. Oh, that's not it. Give me 1 second, I'll find it. I don't know how I lost this again. Here it is. Sorry about that. Oh, where did it go? There we go. So this was posted by one of the previous council members, Mr. Ray Baxley. I've not seen the post that led to this, but based on Shannon's remarks, speaking on that, he's talking about Joseph Reagan's wife, Shannon. I know what it is about. I was on town council when Joe was hired and was fully aware of the situation and was satisfied as to how it was handled. If I at all had any doubts about Joe, I would not have voted to hire him. Since being on the police department, Joe has done an excellent job and has moved the department to be a department to be proud of. He accepted the chief's position knowing that he had an uphill battle, and I am proud of the job he has done. It is unfortunate that some people want to stir crap. As my mom used to say, the more you stir shit, the worse it stinks. So Mr. Ray Baxley is an outstanding citizen of Bluntsville. I'm being sarcastic, obviously. He's a child predator sympathizer. Possibly the reason that he doesn't see a problem with it at all. Just maybe the reason he was satisfied is because he could see himself easily being in the same situation as Joseph Reagan and doing the same thing. Doesn't mean he has done the same thing, but it means he could at least go, I could understand that. That's a big problem. So Mr. Ray Baxley is ignorant, and it's scary that people like that get voted on to town councils, no matter how small the towns are. But everyone that was on that council when he was hired, because again, they can't deny they didn't know about all of it because they did. They all, if I'm sure there's still some that's still on it that was then, and they need to all step down. So this is not going to go away. It's not, because I know what they're talking. I know what they're saying to each other. They're saying, just be patient. We're going to stay silent, and this will eventually just go away. No, it's not. You're going to have to answer to this. We want to know why you hired a child predator, knowing he was a child predator. We want to know that. Now, apparently, the Ray Baxley is no longer on the council. So there's nobody that's on the current council that was on it then? I didn't know. I just figured there may be one or two, but I mean, definitely may not be. But somebody said that this is a totally new council. They took office in November. When's the next town meeting? Munchie said the first and third Monday of every month. But this last, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So their next meeting, according to that, their next meeting won't be till the July 6th. So their next town council meeting should be July the 6th. I still don't understand why Reagan isn't in jail, because Etowah County Sheriff's Office didn't do their job. They dropped the ball on it. That's why. They kicked that problem down the street instead of fixing it. Hey, thank you, Patriot. Because I don't know what I don't know what's happening. You're saying it's happening on both, but yeah, thank you. If you can tell me what's going on, because we haven't been having an issue with it, but it could be a. Oh, you know what? Also, I forget YouTube. I apologize. I forget every time that I have to turn off the ads. So y'all been sitting through ads, and I'm sorry. I got to start remembering to turn monetization off during the lives. For what it's worth, I'm turning it off now. All right, there you go, YouTube. I apologize. I'll make sure to start having a mod stay on YouTube, and that way, when I forget or if I forget, the first time one pops up, they can let me know. I'll fix it. Okay, I see. Yeah, the USB is right. I've got the good one, but I bet I see what you're saying. I'm betting a setting changed when my software upgraded, and I didn't realize that. But yeah, I'll fix it. But thank you a lot for that. But I'll make sure to fix that as soon as this live gets over, and we won't have the issue again, hopefully. But I stream through using OBS. Yeah, those updates will get you because they'll change a setting, all kinds of settings, and you don't realize it. And it only takes 25 hours of YouTube research to figure out the settings you need to use, and then you lose them. And anyway, I don't have a Mac. So I want to talk about. Let me pull this story up. Because I saw this right before the live. And this is, we talk about, I talk about this a lot on firearm safety, and this is unacceptable. So you see the headline: preschooler removed from programs after firearm found in backpack at Levat Jewish Community Center. A preschool student was removed from programs after it was found in their backpack at the Jewish Community Center on Wednesday. The community center in Birmingham said a firearm was found in a preschool student's backpack in the center's day school building where the preschool is located. A parent of the preschooler called the center to let it know that the firearm had been left inside the child's bag. The center's security team later located and removed the weapon from the backpack, saying in a statement that firearms are strictly prohibited across its campuses, especially with the preschooler. The incident is under investigation by law enforcement, as it should be. Administration said the removal of the student is in accordance with its weapons policy and safety concerns. Now, hold on. I have a problem with this because it's not the student's fault. We're talking about a preschooler. So why are we removing the preschooler like it's their fault? A lot of issues here. Number one, why? Under what circumstance would you ever put your firearm in your preschooler's backpack? I would say I'll wait for a good answer, but trust me, there's not a good answer. That is crazy and unacceptable. And some comments on the post. Let me pull the post up. I want to find the one comment that I want to talk about. First off, people were calling, where's the picture of the suspect? What are you talking about? The preschooler? Because there's tons of people trying to make this a race issue, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This comment. In some homes, firearms are very common, and kids can be very sneaky sometimes. So that guy wins the most ignorant comment of the day. Yeah, firearms can be very common in a lot of homes. As mine, I have a lot. Guess what? There is absolutely no way that anyone else other than myself or my wife could ever access any of them. They are locked away 24/7 unless they are actually on me. I have a 11-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. There is absolutely no way either one of them could get access to one without me letting them have access. No way. Impossible. My 11-year-old's been taught about firearms his whole life. His mother and father have spent their entire careers in law enforcement. He's grown up with them. Do I think he would probably never have touched them? Yeah. Am I ever going to chance that? No. This is unacceptable on so many levels. You are responsible for your firearms at all times. We don't leave them in vehicles when we're not in the vehicle. Why? Because people break into vehicles all the time. Stop leaving your firearms in your vehicles, especially at night when you go to sleep. You're responsible for those. Never, ever have them to where a child of any age could get access to them. Ever. I have, obviously, I'm not going to tell much detail here, but I mean, in my studio, I have an entire room, the armory, that some of you have seen. Tons of weapons. Literally no way. Actually, my wife doesn't even have access to the armory. Only me. No one else. And when we're not home at all, like when we go out of town, like on vacation or something, every single one of them is put into another safe that's inside the safe room, that's inside a locked gate. You can break into my home all day. You're not getting one of my firearms. I promise you that. It's not going to happen. First off, you're not even going to find where they are. Second off, even if you did, unless you have high-end explosives, you're not going to get them. This is very simple. Very simple. If you're not going to be responsible, don't have a firearm. There is no excuse. And any of you that have been following me for a while, you've heard this speech numerous times, and you're going to hear it a lot more. There is no excuse. But I have firearms in numerous different parts of my house for strategic reasons. Everywhere they are, they're in some type of safe that, again, only myself or my wife could access. That's it. They're not under a couch cushion. They're not under a mattress. Like, if your child gets hold of your weapon and something bad happens, that's 100% your fault. 100%. And you're the one going to have to sleep with yourself at night after that. No excuse. And again, I can't for the life of me understand why you would ever put it in your preschooler's backpack. If you carry a firearm outside of your house, where's it supposed to be? On you. Not in your purse, not in your backpack, not in your glove box. On you. Because it's not doing you any good anywhere else. Because most of the time, if you ever have to actually use it, you're not going to have time to go get it from somewhere. If it's not on you, you're out of luck. This is one of those things that I cannot stand. There's no excuse for, and too many people are hurt because of irresponsible owners. It's just, but this is unbelievable. And whatever parent did that, they need to face some kind of consequences. They need to be arrested for something. They could be arrested for, I don't know, possibly menacing. But child endangerment, something. They absolutely need to be arrested and face a court on this and have to and answer to it, because this is unacceptable. But no, this guy's comment is exactly why this stuff happens. Some homes, firearms are very common, and kids can be very sneaky. No shit, kids can be very sneaky. That's why you fix it to where there's no possible way they can get them. Where's somebody trolling me on? If it's on Facebook, they've already hidden it. And I've got mods on all the other platforms. But no, there's no excuse for that. And when I saw that story earlier, it just pissed me off so bad. Be adults. Be responsible adults. And most importantly, be responsible parents. Trust me, I highly doubt any of you ever want to be the reason that your child or another child is harmed badly and possibly their life taken. That would be very hard to sleep with at night. It's so simple. but it's something we get so wrong so much. And it's because of ignorant people like the ones that made that comment. There's no excuse. We had a state, and I did a story on it. I did a podcast on it. We had a sitting state representative. His, like, don't quote me on the age, is very young, 4 or 5 year old, got a hold of an AR and accidentally shot his older brother. And I called for the state representative to resign, and nothing happened to him. I think it was a 14-year-old got shot by his 4-year-old, and nobody held him accountable at all for that. And he's the one making laws. Just, this stuff is unbelievable. You are responsible for your children. It's not easy. Parenting is very hard. None of us are perfect parents, but there are certain things that we absolutely cannot allow to happen as parents. Hey, thank you, Angel. I really appreciate that. Appeal not approved. So I appealed TikTok trying to ban me a while ago. This is not approved. We have reviewed your live and found that your live content violates our community guidelines. It says because it contains unoriginal content. That happened before I showed the news station, but I've never gotten flagged for that before. So I don't know what it's talking about. Anyway. You do a lot of content about 764? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll message you. I'd love to get you on the podcast for sure. Because I'm currently, I don't know if you've been following me, but I'm currently putting together an entire educational course for parents, teachers, law enforcement on how to make their children hard targets versus soft targets, how to protect their children from child predators, whether it be online predators or their family members and friends, all that stuff. And it's a very in-depth course. We've been working on it for a long time and putting a lot into it, but I'm excited to get that out. And that should be out within a couple months, a month. But I don't know the exact timeline because I want it to be really in-depth, and it's taking a lot of time for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm excited about that, and I've got a lot of that. I've got a lot of it put together, but I've got more to do. But yeah, for sure. That's the child predators, or the kind of the main subject that I'm leaning into a lot lately, because there is just such a big problem, and there's just so much more education needed. There's so many parents and teachers and law enforcement out there that don't fully understand how it happens and why it happens, and the ways to, like I said, to protect children. Oh, awesome. Yeah, but yeah, I'll message you. We'll talk. That sounds awesome. That's it, Munchies. Thank you. Yeah, it was Aaron Yarborough, which was the state representative, and it was a 6-year-old and his 13-year-old. Yeah, I knew I did a story on it, but yeah, he should have been held accountable for that. Because again, it's unacceptable, especially coming from one of our lawmakers. Yeah, and y'all are talking about Redeemed Ministries. So I made a mistake on my podcast I did earlier today about the Mark Moon situation, where I said during the podcast, I said he is currently the pastor of Redeemed Ministries, and that was not correct. Now, I corrected it on the description bio for the podcast and pinned a comment correcting that. But that was not correct. He was an associate pastor there in, I think, 2022. So during some of this, he was an associate pastor there. So I apologize for getting that wrong, but I corrected it. So he preaches at County Line Baptist Church now. All right. But yeah, Patriot, I've talked a lot about 764 before. I've done some, I can't remember if I've done some full podcast on it, but I've definitely done some full lives on it, and other things in relation to that, specifically Roblox, the Roblox gaming system that Chris Hansen's been covering a lot on and calling out lately. And he's done by the way, if you're a parent, teacher, law enforcement, whatever, you need to go to watch Chris Hansen's new documentary on Roblox. You need to understand how this stuff happens, because it will help you. It will help you parent better and protect children better. It's some deep stuff, but it's things that we need to be talking about. But you can go find it on Hansen's network, True Blue Network, and I think you can even get it on his YouTube channel too. Not 100% sure on that, but definitely on the True Blue Network. But it's an awesome documentary, and it tells you exactly what's going on. It's especially specifically Roblox, which is a kids gaming system that is just a honey hole for child predators. That's all it is. If you have a child and they're on Roblox, you need to stop that right now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, right now. Because if they're on Roblox, trust me, they have been targeted by a child predator, if not numerous ones. There are many accounts on TikTok which are 764 recruiters. Jesus. No, I'm looking forward to talking to you, because I don't know a ton about 764. I don't know as much as I'd like to. That's for sure. But I definitely want to learn more about all of that. Yeah, Sean Ryan he's had Ryan Montgomery on a few times. Chris Hansen's had Ryan Montgomery on as well. But Ryan Montgomery and Schlepp have both been on both of their podcasts, and they're both very informative. If you're not familiar with either one of those, they know the ins and outs of Roblox and how this happens. And Schlep was an actual victim when he was a child on Roblox, and Ron Montgomery is what you call an ethical hacker. But they know, especially the tech side, they're geniuses in it, especially Ron Montgomery. But they've both had very bad run-ins with Roblox literally protecting the child predators and banning the good guys from their gaming systems. It's really bad. But again, the documentary that Chris Hansen's done on Roblox is very important, but it goes into detail on all that stuff. And I hope I'm going to try my best to get at least one of them, hopefully both at some point, but at least one of them on my podcast. That's one of the things we're going to be trying to do. Because it's something that nobody likes talking about. I don't like talking about it, but it's a necessity. We have to have those conversations because it's happening too much. And a lot of parents don't even realize it until it's too late. Yeah, people need to be informed for sure. Your granddaughter wants to play Roblox. No, I'm telling y'all, under no circumstance, let your child on Roblox. Under no circumstance. It's that bad. Who are you talking about, Lauren? Who are you asking about? Oh, Chris Hansen. Here, we'll pull up his YouTube page right quick, and so I'll show you. That way you have a visual of it, so when you're looking, you can find it easily. Yeah, the name of the documentary is Dangerous Games. Here, let me pull it up. And while you're on his YouTube page, you can go watch the episode of his podcast that I was on, because I was very honored that Chris Hansen had me on his podcast. It was an awesome experience. But this is it, Dangerous Games. And you can, where did the network thing go?
Dangers that your children may face. If you're a parent or know parents who may benefit from this, we urge.
I can't play that much because it will kick us off. But that's so big. Hold on. You see the little True Blue? So on your Roku, Amazon stick, whatever, Fire Stick, whatever, smart TV, search True Blue, and that's Chris Hansen's TV network. And it's like, subscribe to it. It's like $4.99 a month or something. It's like $5 a month. It's nothing. And there's a lot of awesome shows on there. And his show Have a Seat, where he still does all the child predator stings is on there too. All of those. He's got a new season that's just came out not long ago on there. Those are all awesome as well. But it's called Dangerous Games. And this first episode you can watch here on YouTube. So you can go to his YouTube channel and watch the first episode on there. But I think the rest of them you have to go to the True Blue Network. And he's also got quite a few different podcasts where he's discussed Roblox and all the things that happen on there and how to protect your child. Yeah, and Sean Ryan episode 255. Is that the one with Ryan Montgomery? Yeah, I think he's had Ryan Montgomery on at least twice, but the last one was really good. The first one was good too, but the last one was pretty recent, somewhat recent, and it's very informative too. And the one that he did with Slep, which was the victim that's now fighting child predators. He's awesome. Well, I call him a kid. He's not a kid anymore, but he's an awesome guy. He's young. And then also Chris Hansen has done podcasts with both of them as well. But yeah, Patriot said it's Sean Ryan show, episode 255. And it's very informational. Wish you would do stories from Winston. Any stuff that's going on there, you can message us and we'll look into it. Shelly. Yes, I'm in Alabama. I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Okay, who I think you are then. I was going to work for you at one time. Who are you? Well, Lauren, I'm glad you're joining us. You're on. That sounds weird. I know. I'm sorry. I was going to be bait to help you stop the pervs. Yeah, don't put all your don't put your stuff out there. But it has been we've been going for over 3 hours, so I think I'm gonna call it a night. But hey, I appreciate each and every one of you for being on here. I truly mean that. I couldn't do any of this without you all. Couldn't do any of this without my team. Appreciate them. But this is we try our best to bring awareness to things that need awareness brought to them, to be the voice for the voiceless people, and we've made a big difference, but because of you all. And there's a lot more. We have a lot more work to do, and we're going to continue to grow. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you. And all I ask you to do is to follow me on the platforms you're on, and please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, because we're trying to grow that, and I would appreciate that a lot. And again, you can find that as Agent D Baker. I'm Agent D Baker on all the platforms except for Facebook, and it's just my full name, Derek, Derek Baker. And also, you can go check out our website, agentdbaker.com, and see all the stuff that I do on there. And also, if you're interested in being a guest on my podcast or know someone that is, you can go to the website. There's a button on there you can click, contact button. And then also, if you're interested in getting me to come to your organization, your business, whatever the case is, to speak, there's a spot on there for that too. We can fill out a little form on that. And also, once we get the courses up and going, they will be on there. And you can find links to all my social media platforms on there, and all the information about me, my entire bio, my full resume, pretty much. So make sure you go check out the website. And we're going to have merch on there within the next week. I promise. I know I've been saying that for a while, but the merch store will be up and live on the website within the next week. So we're excited about that as well. Patreon, I'm not 100% sure yet, so it may be something I'll speak with you about, because I've looking at like three or four different ones right now. You'll have a good week next week. I'm going cruising with my cousin on a Carnival cruise ship. Well, congratulations, Rhonda. I hope you enjoy that. Seriously, hope you have a good time and be safe. I post everything on YouTube. My full podcast are all posted on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. It's the only places you can find my full podcast. And then I post a lot of short videos and a lot of my shorter podcasts on TikTok, Facebook, X, and YouTube. But yeah, everything is posted on YouTube. But not everything is posted on TikTok, and not everything is posted on Facebook, and not everything is posted on X. But YouTube is the one main place where everything is posted. And then all my long form podcasts are on, like I said, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. But yeah, it seems like there was something else I was going to. Oh, also remember the public demonstration that we have planned for the ramp, the cult that we've been covering in Hamilton, Alabama. We're going to do a peaceful protest, public demonstration there in July. Please make sure, if you have not messaged us the best days and times for you, please do that. And if you're planning on coming, and again, do that through the website. Just click the contact button and through there. So don't forget about that, because that's going to be very helpful. And Monday or Tuesday, we'll have an actual set location of exactly where we're going to be, so we'll be able to put that out as well. So that's something that we really need to focus on and bring a lot of more attention to as well. So I think that was the last thing. But other than that, catch me back Monday night at 8 p.m. Central, and I'll be on all the platforms then. And then Wednesday night, remember, is exclusively on YouTube. And then also go check out all my videos, podcasts. And again, that's all I ask you to do is follow me, subscribe, watch my videos all the way through my podcast, like them, comment on them, tell your friends and your family about them. That's the things that help push them out and bring awareness to the things that we're bringing awareness to. So I hope y'all have a great rest of your Friday night and have a great weekend. And if there's anything we can do for you, message us. And if we can't help you, we will. If we can't, we'll tell you we can't. Welcome to Truth Recon. I'm Agent D Baker, former narcotics detective, SWAT team member, and U.S. Navy combat veteran. With years of real-world experience in high-stakes environments, I've seen firsthand the dangers that lurk both in our communities and now increasingly online. Before this show begins, understand this. What you are about to hear may be disturbing to some audiences. This podcast contains explicit language, dark themes, and real conversations that are not suitable for children and may be triggering for some individuals. If you choose to continue, do so knowing this content is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.